Hello. Did I say that right? I think I did. How you guys doing today, brothers and sisters? Welcome to another video. Heirs of our Father's promise. Now, why are we here today? Always to edify our spirit, the knowledge and wisdom that we gain from the higher most, right? In Yahushua, Yahusha, in Him, Yahuwah, Elohim, Adonai. Okay, so we are here to do what? We are here to be beautiful. We are here to be truthful. We're here to love. We're here to understand. We're here to change. We're here to repent. We're here to fix what has been broken, right? Which is the truth and the matter of today's existence. So in the modern time, we're here to always, use analogies, but always be direct and punctuate as to what's going on right now in the current time. So of course, we're gonna always get into the word, but why do we need to be very curious, not curious, cautious? Forgive me, English. Why do we need to be cautious today? Um, in today's time, right? In today's time, it's very important that a lot of people, right? A lot of people need to be very wary of what they're dealing with in life. For example, I'll give you one more example. For example, the reason why we need to be very curious, right, and courteous. Matter of fact, that was the first word that I wanted to use, but I could not think of it at that moment. The reason why we need to be very courteous is because there's so much going on in this world, right? That personally, that a lot of people are not very much aware of, right? Now, remember this: we have fire in us, so that means everything else that we choose to stop don't have to resonate with the way we act. And there was like a little what is it called? An ad, right? That popped up. Because that's what I'm gonna call it when I was on TikTok. And it's not really an ad, but it was somebody's post, but I'm gonna consider that an ad because it's suggestive, right? It was telling me, why not a therapist? And I was just looking at it like, did I come out the womb with a title that said therapist? Like maybe there was a string attached to my arm that says therapist needed and required. No, if there was ever an issue mentally with me, right, we have to look at it like this, right? Personally, wisdom does not give you mental problems. People give you mental problems because a lot of what comes with mental problems is what? Doubt. And a lot of doubt is self-doubt. It's not any people doubt, it's trust, doubt, and a lot of what is missing is hope. I have a lot of hope. I don't have no doubt. Okay? So the one thing that I don't have is misunderstanding. So I don't bring the BS of stupidity around me when people are talking nonsense. Okay, so we're here to bring that back, to dilate all of these things and put them in an aspect that is very, 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 very beautiful for us and all of us to stand together. Now, why do I say this? Is because a lot of times people like to, when they talk, right, they all they do is just bring scriptures. I like to talk to people. I like to actually get to know why people, right, don't believe or they don't have no hope, because that's what's missing, hope. A lot of people, for a lot of even modern Christians, right, they talk about what? They talk about signs, and they want signs because they don't have hope. They are literally stranded on the fact that they don't have hope no more. So when we're talking about hope, why is it important to have hope? It's important to have hope because hope is your faith. So even in your worst time, your hope will build your relationship with your creator, because at the end of the day, beauty and what else comes with hope? Miracles. That's why you don't need to go to a pastor to give you instructions of something that is within, because your personal journey is private. It's between you and the person that reads your intention that comes from your heart. We read the word, but then you have people that just name scriptures because it's relevant to a scenario. Yes, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. But when does it really work? When a lot of people are just jumping and dancing, and a lot of them are not actually a part of the truth. But they're more so a part of the business, but not the truth. When has it ever been? And for those that get what I said, I'm glad that you watched my previous videos because it definitely helps, right? And the topic for today is going to say what? The preparation of the start to end shows. Let's give it a very short. Let's just give it a very short. Let's just shorten it down. Okay, prepare for the start, so when you meet the end, you'll be loyal, right? You'll be loyal. And you'll be doing everything that you've prepared yourself with in truth. Because a lot of people are first not loyal. They think they know what loyalty is. Loyalty is not what you think it is. Just because you got people by your side, that's not loyalty. Loyalty is accepting truth. Even if people are wrong, you're still going to be correcting them. You're not going to yell at them because you understand. You have the patience to want to understand. And you have love, which is unconditional. Even when they piss you off. Even when they throw arrows at you, yes, sometimes you got to walk away. But then you still got love for them. You're still going to pray for them. You're still going to look out for them. Not because you're selfish and you want to make money, right? And then you got to go and do something that you know you should have no business doing. It's funny how my device just try to flank on me, but hey, we're gonna work with it anyways. I'm not here to be doing all of these little weird stuff. So we're gonna be in the Chronicles of Saints Mark. Okay, the reason why we're gonna need to be in the Chronicles of Saints Marks is because why? Saints Mark talk about a lot. It's just like Saints Matthew. And if you've been reading, watching my videos, right, you're gonna realize that these chapters are saying the same thing. If you, it does not matter what version of the Bible you get these from. If it's the New Testament, the Old Testament. The reason why I don't really get into the Old Testament is because I don't have the book with me. I could always go online and get the books, and I do have the audio versions, and I have other scripts that I can pull up. But the Old Testament itself, no. I have the New Testament, but doesn't mean that I don't know nothing about the Old Testament. The reason why I don't even worry about the Old Testament is the same reason why the government is trying to ban the New Testament. It's because there's more in the New Testament than there is in the Old Testament. They're all relevant, but what you need to know as of the now, because we're not in the back days, we're in the now, is relevant. Okay? Is really relevant. Really, 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 really relevant. Okay. So let's get started. And we're gonna be if you want to grab your buy and bow, right? If you've been following exactly what I've been telling you this whole time, or your biblioteca, however that you want to say it, you go ahead, be my guest. But some of these are not the verses are not written on these. But as I always do, I always start you guys with what? I always start you off with inspiration and contradiction. Inspiration and contradiction. All right, so let's start with actually contradiction first. Okay, so the contradiction part, I for some reason I did get I did receive I did jot down the verse. That much I will say. And mind you, all of these are translated, by the way. So so for the modern age, so it's not picking and choosing. It's just so that we can understand bit by bit certain aspects, right, of what we're reading. Now, if you want to go to the Geneva, the King James, whatever the case is, if you're a Mormon and you got those books right there, whatever the case is, it doesn't matter to me. As long as if the words are not similar in somewhat of a definition, please put it in the comment section so we can actually if we can actually combine those things, or we can see what is wrong and what's missing. Okay. Because one thing that we don't like here is fallacies. We don't like lies and deceit. We want truth, and that's it. Something that's going to edify our spirit and keep us moving. So, verse 3. What does it say in verse 3? And first off, we're going to start off with the subject like we always do, right? And it says, the beginning of a cause the beginning of a cause, right, is jealousy, which came among men, seeing that Christ was getting attention. So, of course, we have people like Judas, right, who was a part of the well, who was a disciple, right, before he hung himself, and he did what he did, being a Judas. Literally, it's funny how we use a word that was a name for a person as an action. Now that's wild, okay? But hey, the scrutiny is always happening every single day, and that's another thing we got to worry about, because spiritual scrutiny is called sabotage. People will sabotage you spiritually, and they will try to do it physically. Okay, let's get let's get started. And what does it say? She poured the anointment, the ointment. English. Ooh, forgive me. Let me restart that one more time. She poured the ointment upon him, and this is Christ, by the way. That was getting the Mary, one of the Marys, right? That was pointing, pouring ointment with this, alabasters on Christ, and this is Christ. She poured the ointment upon him, and those around him became jealous and wondered why she's doing so, wasting it, although it could have been sold. These ointments would have cost up to 300 coppers, and 300 coppers back then could have been most definitely $300. Okay, 300 coppers, like about $300. If not $300, then $30. Somewhere in that aspect. It's definitely not $3, and it's definitely not 3,000. Okay, it was somewhere around there. A lot of worth. Okay, and what they say? What did the disciples say? They said those nearby murmured, because it wasn't just those nearby. It was also the disciples. They were pretty heated. Okay, and the disciples was usually always around Christ majority of the time, if not all the time. All right, those nearby murmured to themselves about her, saying that she could have sold about her. My apologies, about her, saying that. Yeah, let me restart that all over again, because I didn't read that properly. Those nearby murmured to themselves about her, saying that she could have sold the ointment and had money left to help the poor. But knowing them, Christ told them to stop bothering her, for she's done nothing wrong. For you all have the ability to do good unto me, but you never do. This woman came and honored me before my departure, so wherever this story will be told, she must always be included. Wow. 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 And mind you, this is a lady. This is a woman, right? So when it came to everybody being around him, mind you, he had thousands of people following him. Christ had thousands of people following him, thousands of people following him. If he was in today's time, he would have had over millions of followers on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever you what they call it again, Snapchat. He would have been really famous, for real. So you see what I mean, because a lot of people get jealous over people that already are influencers, right? So imagine being around somebody that's an influencer, and you have like 20,000 followers on your account, and somebody else got like 50 to 100 million followers on Instagram. Look at it like that, from that perspective. And you're somebody like Judas, right? That has the most connections out here, because how else, let me ask you guys this. How else do you think the Pharisees keep finding Christ in different nations? Because you think that Christ is just going to all these nations just because he has to. Yes, he has to, but at the same time, it's because of these Pharisees, these scribes, all of these chief priests, all of these people are bothering him. No matter where he went, they were always popping up. And who was giving them intel? It wasn't the people that was following them, because they didn't have people following them every 10 seconds. And Christ was not doing miracles every single day. Because words spread like wildfire in Galilee. But we're going to get into verse 10, right? Just so we can understand. Because I don't want to hold you guys up here. Usually my videos be way long, hours long. But we're not going to get all into that. We're going to be in verse 10. Okay, the subject for this one is going to say middle ground, right? Process equals Judas was jealous from the lack of attention. Now we can see this obviously, because what did he do? Because in Mark chapter 14, right? What did Judas do in that chapter? He went and snitched. He went to talk to what? The chief priest and them. He set it up. And we only hear about this now, but who would have known if I were to say that he already done it a long time ago, right? Because how else would he know? Who would know? Like realistically speaking, who would have known? Who would know if Judas was talking to them a long time ago or giving them insight? He might not deliberately have done it, because if you think about it, Christ even warned his disciples before they went on to they went back. I believe it was I think it was in Galilee. No, I think it was yeah. I think it was in Judea, actually, one of them two. If it wasn't in Judea, it had to have been Galilee, where he warned them before they got off the boat, when they had the least amount of food. They realized that they didn't come on board with food at all. He warned them, saying that once we get off the boat, once we get off the ship, right? Basically, he told them, yes, these people are going to try to, what is it called? They're going to try to gaslight you. They're going to try to gaslight you and try to bait you in by you exchanging information. Who knows what had happened? Because they were confused on the boat, and the only people that didn't go for that we know of so far, besides Judas, was Judas, and that was it. And everybody else did it. Just saying, right? So let's read the words. And what does it say? Meanwhile, Judas Iscariot was upset and went to conspire with the chief priests on Christ's downfall. Mind you, Christ was already telling them that he's going to get arrested. So he fulfilled the vision itself. Because somebody tell you, oh yeah, this is going to happen to me, this is going to happen to me. You don't know if you're the one that's going to cause it to happen. You have no idea. This is why when people talk about time paradoxes and all of that stuff, when if you go in the past, you step on a bug, you can create a whole army of bugs that might evolve quickly, because one bug seen that their parent bug got crushed or something like that, and they were like, a revolt, revolt, this is war. Like, I don't know. It could be. He was upset. He was upset. Because somebody don't betray somebody just because. Mind you, remember, devils, they use your emotions to control you. So he had to have some type of emotion that was either jealousy, anger, or something that he allowed the enemy to use so he can betray Christ. It couldn't have been Peter, because Peter had love in him. So Peter was very loyal. Even though at a certain time, even though nobody wants to die, right? But Peter was very loyal. So the devils could not use him. They already tried. And what did Christ do? He rebuked it out of he rebuked it out of Peter. Because the enemy tried to sweet talk Christ through one of his people within his circle, not outside, not no strangers, people that he's been walking with for weeks to months to years in different places. That was exactly what was happening. But let's continue. Let's read it, right? And then it says what? In the next verse, it says, already mapping out Christ's destruction. And this is the Pharisees and the scribes and the chief priests. They already were mapping on, planning against them. They said, what? Judas came to them and they were delighted, so they promised him a pay. So they were already planning on destroying Christ. They just had to find a good reason, the right time, and who can, allow them to give them information on how to bring Christ down. Even when they brought him to trial, they were unable to successfully use anything that was logical. Everything was unlogical. Everything was emotional, and Christ chose to not say anything. Not that he couldn't say anything. He chose to not say anything. He said a few words, which was, I'm going to be going up to the heavens in the right side of my Father, and I will come back. That's what he said. That's what he said. So how can you want to kill somebody just because they say that they're gonna go into the heavens, they're gonna go into paradise, unless you in your mind is already preset to, to murder the person. Because the chief priests were delighted when one of the witnesses came, right? When one of the witnesses came, one of the false witnesses came, and they said everything that they said. Oh, he's gonna build back the church. Even if that would have been the case, that still couldn't have been enough. Because even the chief priest had to give him an option for him to respond so he can deny or accept or give some type of cause or claim for what he has said. But Christ did not respond. He did not respond at all. He didn't respond. Why did he not respond? He didn't respond because he didn't see that it was worth it, right? Seeing that a lot of the people, even when the false claims, when they were accusing him, it did not make sense. It didn't make sense. See, you got the difference between truth and selective truth, right? Meaning you're picking and choosing the time what you want to calculate to speak a truth rather than something that is 100% true. And his destiny was to what? Go on the cross so that me and you and everybody else can be saved, right? So that the sins of Adam and Eve, as of the nature of lustful desire, not just sex, but the desire of the flesh, right? And the things of the fleshly world, right? And all of these things cannot hold us bound to this world, because I give you guys a term, right? Which is higher mass, lower density. Lower mass, higher density. So everything that is amassed on this earth is what? Carbonized, right? Especially physical objects, even water to a certain extent, but it's oxy. It doesn't matter because it's still oxy in it regardless. So oxy, anything is still gonna have, it's still gonna have the two properties, which is still gonna be water or what? Carbon. If it doesn't have carbon, it's gonna have something relative to carbon. So when you have these properties, right, that are going to hold you down, you're going to be held down with it. I don't know if you guys ever heard about when people say that a spirit, when somebody passes away, right, they have unfinished business on this earth, right? That's the reason why they stay on the earth and all of this, and they don't go into the heavens or anywhere else. It's because they are tied to the materialistic things of the earth. So they said, what is in the earth, you will be what? You will be given everything that's on earth and that is in heaven. So everything that you attach yourself to, you will be connected and tied to. So when you die, it will be with you. That's why there are a lot of things called demonic, or there's things called what is it called, poltergeists, and all of these words, because those are people that chose to tie themselves to materialistic things in this world. And do you not know what the word devil means? So when you say the word devil backwards, it means what? Lived. So devils are the people that once lived. So you become a devil if you stay on this earth and you are attached to materialistic things of this world, and you're doing the things that these other entities are doing. You are considered a devil. And I'm talking about the spirit. You know, people don't even realize that there are people on this earth still that are still spirits, that they have not passed or ascended yet. These things are very needed to be understood. This is where possession comes from. There are spirits out here, or influences of entities that used to live, that wants to have a body, and they want to possess bodies. That's why they do contracts. They would find a way to give you the things of this world, money, fame, whatever, influence, power, whatever that you wanted, right? But the moment they take a hold of your body because of a contract, that's why it's commanded that we don't make oaths. Because when you make an oath, you have to keep the oath. It's not the same thing like a promise. A contract in blood is a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual tieness. It's a spiritual connection. And a lot of people are not aware of that. They're not. They are not. That's why when you see a lot of these people that are making all of these nonsense, like first off, you can be a musician, you can be an artist, you can be like when I say artist, I'm talking about drawing, right? You can be an artist, you can be a sculpture, is that even how you say sculptist? I don't know, but you can be sculpting things, you can be drawing, you can be a musician, you can be a singer, a rapper, whatever the case is. But all of these things, what are all of these people are always sad. Even people, politicians, they're always sad. Every time when you look in their background, right, they might have good things in their records, but when it comes to like them doing good to people, the people that they shake their hands with, they be doing a lot of shady stuff. How can you own this business, you shaking hands with people that are trafficking kids and you don't know nothing about it? First off, you're not even going to be able to make millions of dollars unless you are tracked down, unless they give you access for that to happen. And it also, of course, we already know that it's Christ's choice as well, meaning our Father's choice as well, in Elohim, Adonai, right? That He could choose for that to happen. But they're going to be on you. They are going to be on you. They're going to be on you. But yes, the devils. That's what they are. I made a video about this, like, I don't know. I made a video about this, like, I would say like 30 videos ago. I give you guys real gems. I'm not here to be talking about fallacies or nothing like that. Like, look, everything that I say to you can be explained to a certain extent, right? Because I don't know everything, but what I do know is what I'm shown, right? It can be explained on a scientific level, on a logical level, on a physiological, on a physiology. Is that even how you say it? Philosophy. Dupes me English, but the word is gonna come. But it can be understood. It could be on. It's a concept that could be understood. Just to point and make it a very point blank, situation. It can be. It's a concept that can be very understood without all of these extra words that don't need to be, implied in this situation. It's a concept that can be understood. That can be proven as well. A lot of people talk about vibration. So if you understand something about vibration, you realize that when they tell you that energy cannot be destroyed or created, it can only be converted, which can only bend to a certain extent. It can form a certain structure, right? Through sequences. You have to understand that there's a command that gives those things to be active. Okay? So let's continue though. I would like for this not to prolong any further than too long than what it has already. But verse 58, before I give you guys, this is another contradiction. The subject for this is the realistic layers of the story. And it says what? But a devil possessed man came and said that he heard Christ say he will rebuild the temple with his bare hands after destroying it. But many didn't agree with him as a total. So hearing their bickering, the high priest then expanded these accusations and asked Christ if this is true. But Christ held his peace and said nothing. The high priest then asked again and warned him that it is important that he replies and asked him, is he the Messiah? Christ then, Christ then said to them, I am, for I will sit before Eli on his right side of power and will return from the heavens and seen in the sky. And seen in the sky. Like I said, there was a devil because all of these things, like mind you, people cannot go against logic, right? Somebody can learn something all in school, whatever the case is. When you say that somebody is really intelligent, it doesn't matter what you say. Even if they don't like what you say, they will at least hear you out and they will still be able to understand why you think what you're thinking, right? They're not gonna assume because of a tragic situation or a traumatic situation no, because when that happens, that means that the reason why you believe what you believe is because that happened to you. That's not the same scenario with me. It might seem similar, but it's not. Fear tactics. They said that Christians use fear tactics. But you got to also remember this. If Christianity was the worst thing in the world, there wouldn't be so much denomination in Christianity. There wouldn't be so many different ways on worshiping the same Christ. And so many different things on this and arguments about this and this and that and that and that. And then Christianity is the most sold topic of the entire world, right? But then the most hidden secrecy of truth that nobody, like, there would not be so much chaos within Christianity. There's not a lot of chaos within the Muslim, community. They all understood each other. They all understand each other. What about the Hindu community? They all understand each other. Why is it that Christianity is that if it's not something about Christianity that's actually truth? And everybody is always trying to play on these things, but they don't even realize, like, yo, you can't fight something. You're not going to try to hide something, right? That obviously you don't find that it could be useful. It could be used against you if you have an agenda. Because why else would the New Testament be removed? Like I said early in the video, why else would Putin put those freaking things outside, to let people see now, not before, not 10 years ago, not 5 years ago, but now? Why? It's a ploy. And a lot of people are falling for these distractions and they don't even know exactly what's going on. Because they want to follow trends. They want to be listening to a whole bunch of distractions. Listening to this pastor, listening to this pastor. This pastor is going to keep telling you the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. I will give you, like, they will tell you things. One thing I learned is this. You can, yes, for somebody that's Christian, yes, you can use the word as a background, as an evidence to help another Christian. But for people that are not Christian, you cannot use the word to literally convict somebody unless you understand why they don't believe, because they're not going to believe. You can't tell somebody that because Christ loves you, there's no equality. You're going to turn them into false Christians. That's why a lot of people nowadays are worshiping religion rather than the actual practice of their spiritual faith. You can use the word to amplify an example, but you should not use it as the main thing, because you have to first be level to people. A lot of the people that Christ was preaching to, was he not preaching in the temple, meaning the places where people went to worship? So he had to start at the place where people people that thought they knew the truth, they did not know the truth. That's where he had to start at. He didn't start where people that know, because the basics of the power structure of Christianities are what? The temples, the synagogues, the church. So if the church, the synagogues, the temples, if they are corrupted and they're not telling people the real truth, imagine the people that are in the society, in this economy right now. That means that a lot of people are prophesying and ministering the wrong doctrine, because that's basically what is considered. Simple. There is no objection to that, because at the end of the day, I tell people this. When we read the word, right, the reason why it's very important that you read the word, you ask for discernment. So that when you're reading the word, you understand what you're reading. Do your research. Break down words, not just from one language and say, oh, this word is defined. It says this in the dictionary. No, break down that word per word. Per word. I'm talking about vowels, suffix, prefix, all of these things from the ancient language on what this could even mean, all of this, because at the end of the day, that's exactly where you're going to find most of the truth. That's what they want you to do, but that's what they don't want you to do, but they still have to give that option for you to know, because that's the only way you're going to know the truth. Why do you think it says that many people die because of the lack of knowledge? It's because people are not choosing to do their own research. They're following other people's ideas, idealistic theories. Let's put it like this. If I gave you the truth, right? I'm gonna give you guys an example. If I give you the truth, right, about some type of topic, right, and I tell you that I'm not gonna tell you the truth directly, but I will give you hints of the truth, right? And the truth that you can find, the way that you can find the truth is by going on Google, searching this and that and then the third, right? Which is gonna take you way longer than you just going on Google and just typing AI answer this. Does that make sense? Like they have to give you the truth regardless, but they're not going to make it easy for you to understand the truth. So you have to do the digging yourself. You have to do the digging yourself. That's why I give you guys hints, not just hints, but like real hints that you can use that will really help you. I give you guys words that will put images in your mind so you can actually understand what is actually truth. So that if the average person that don't already know, they'll be able to understand. It's like me giving a baby is it's like me giving an infant a bottle of milk. You're drinking the milk. You want flavor. You want texture. But you don't even got the teeth yet to want to have steak and have all of these extravagant things. I give you guys all of these things for you guys to learn. I trust and believe when I tell you that I am not making no mistakes and I'm not here to play around because look, let's put it like this. I have spent time to do research on analytics, right? When it comes to this social media stuff, on what words can be applied to gaining a whole bunch of views and whatnot views. Once you understand that these social platforms are controlled, that's how you know, right? That's how you're gonna know that no matter what you do, the only way that it's gonna be actually successful is if it's Christ, our creator itself, right, in Yahuwah, that actually permit what you're doing to be successful. Because the end, bro, like brothers and sisters, I'm gonna tell you this right now. The enemy does not want the truth to come out. So you can even pay for advertisement, and that's using what? Promissory notes. So you're going to use a part of their system to basically play their games. And once you stop paying for advertisement and views and all of this stuff, right? What do you think is going to happen? It's going to deplete. People are not going to continue following what you're giving. If some of them are real or not even real. And that's the truth. And that is the truth. That means money wise, the amount of money that you make, you can have the best job in the world, but just know that there are gonna be a group and association of people that are gonna try to get you to join their association. You can make $100,000 a year. There are people that are gonna come to try to manipulate what your expectations of like. They're gonna try to get you to join this, join that, and trust and believe it's gonna have nothing to do with Christ. If you want to be a singer, a rapper, whatever that it is. I'm not here to tell people what they want, what they think they should hear. No, I'm here to tell people the truth, because at the end of the day, there are a lot of people walking out here like they think they're righteous. They're not. You can't be arrogant and ignorant. You got to pick one. You can either be one. You can either be arrogant or you can be ignorant. You can't be ignorant and arrogant. That's you definitely not going to get that. That's an L right there on a maximum level times 10 to 1,000 infinitely. It doesn't mean that you can't be forgiven of your sins. It just means that you're going to be taking L's. You will. People will tell you anything and you're just going to believe it. That means your faith is not, that means anybody can say anything to you. You're just going to believe it. You're not even going to ask no questions. And you're not even going to try to ask them a question to see, oh, where did you get your information from? You're not. You're not. But we're going to start with inspiration, because it's definitely getting close to that time. Of course, inspiration, like I already told you earlier, that it does not have no verses. So please bear with me with this one. And the subject for this says what? Ellie's glory, and Ellie means father, right? Glory, and not of our own. It's Ellie's glory and not of our own. My apologies. And it says what? So upon leading himself for prayer, Christ said, Abba, Father, all things are possible unto you. So if it be not your will, remove all that isn't of your will. Watch over me and encourage me when temptation comes. For I made up my mind, but my body is weak. Why is it said that? Why did Christ say that? Christ knows that the flesh is weak. That the pain that he's going to go through, he's going to have to endure that. And listen to the key word that he says. He did not say mine. He said your will, not my will, your will. So everything that we're doing in this world is of our own ideals. It's not feasible. So when a lot of people are talking about faith and faith and faith and faith, people are going off by their own ideals. They're doing this because do you not know that you're supposed to pray about everything? You're supposed to ask our Creator about everything. It don't matter. If you forget, that's understanding. A mistake is a mistake. But you're supposed to ask Him about everything. That means even trying to eat, even trying to speak, even trying to go somewhere, you have to ask Him about everything. He said, your will, not mine. Your will. Your will, not my will, your will. So if it be your will, so it be, not mine. Let's continue the word. It says, afterwards, Christ headed back to his disciples and found them sleeping. He said, Peter, Simon, are you sleeping still? You couldn't wait an hour? But after Christ, and this shows also the fact that he had a personality. So like I was saying, he couldn't bear the pain. So he asked and said that, Father, if it be your will, so be it. That's why he said it. Personality, characteristic. A lot of people say that Christ was our creator in the flesh. Yes, the embodiment. But when Christ himself talked to people, he did not make himself higher than them. He considered himself what? A person just like them. That's why everything he did, he shared with them. He leveled his experience with them. He is an example. Let me put it like this. If there's a business, right? If you have a business, right? And you have different aspects of the business. You have the tech people, you have the tech person, which is the Holy Spirit, right? Who is what? The back guy, the person to handle all of the technology, the technical stuff, right? That is to support, that's to understand, that's to visualize, all of this stability, right? You have the face of the business, which is Christ. And then you have the owner of the entire facility, the leverages, the money, all of that, which is our creator. That's basically that. Put it in one. It's one foundation. The Holy Spirit is the technical one. That's, the influence, the change, the potential, the science that's encrypted, that's being able to be read in certain aspects of things that we can understand and the things that we cannot understand. And the face is what? The person that is embodying the information himself and is presenting it to the people that wants to partake in the product that is being sold. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's continue. But after Christ interacted with them, he went back to the sacred place and he prayed and spoke the same words as before, and he headed back to check up on Peter and Simon again. This time they fell in such a deep sleep they couldn't even open their eyes to answer him. And mind you, this time they were a little bit drunk because they ate, they drank wine, they were a little bit drunk. It's not because it was nighttime. No, they were a little bit drunk. Because not even the pastor is going to tell you. Not every pastor is going to tell you. They were a little bit drunk. They had ate a feast. What happens when you eat? You get a little tired. You get a little woozy. You drink wine. It says it right in the scripture. You're gonna get a little bit drunk. You're gonna get a little bit tired. You're gonna be fatigued. You're gonna have fatigue in you, right? You're gonna have fatigue. You're gonna go to sleep. And Christ understood because he knew the flesh was weak. So what does it say in the next verse? It says, so the third time he went back to pray and came back, and from there he told them to stand up, for the hour is upon them, for he is to be troubled. And was betrayed by his own people. He then told them once more to rise up and go. And what were they doing? They were still sleeping. Eventually, they did get up because he told them something is at hand. The Pharisees, the chief priests, and all of those people, the Herodians, I think that's how you say it properly, the Herodians and the soldiers, they came to try to get him. And guess who came with them? Judas. Judas wasn't even slick where he came back by himself. No, he came with them, trying to act like he wasn't with them. He even told the chief priest that whoever that I'm going to show respect to, that's the person that you got to go and arrest. It's always a Judas. But let's continue. There's a this one. Oh, another inspiration. It doesn't have a verse, but hey, it doesn't matter. We're gonna still make the best of it regardless. I don't know. I need to start writing these verses down. That's for sure. The subject for this one says, just because some people attack doesn't mean you have to attack back. Be their example. So when somebody's cursing you, trying to fight you, don't fight and curse. If you have to speak up and bring truth, respect, and correction, that's different. Fighting is not an answer. So if you are the person to cause a situation for people to fight, you're wrong. It doesn't matter what you say. You will always be wrong. If you have to fight, you will always be wrong. It doesn't matter if somebody stole your thing, whatever the case is, you will always be wrong. You will always be wrong. You have the rights to be upset. Everybody does. But there's certain levels to those things. And what does it say? Now prepared to fight, one of the disciples was ready for war, and he drew one of the servant's sword and cut off that servant's ear. And what does it say? Christ then asked them, are you at the caliber of these false accusers and encouraging their barbaric ways? So are you going to cut off their ears because they arrested me? Because they're falsely accusing me? Because they're saying these bad things about me? Are you going to shoot them because they're doing this? No. You're not. You are not. You're not going to do any of those things. It's not your job to do that. You can't ask your creator to be your vengeance, and they're still committing the same crime that they say. Because he said what? Don't be barbaric. Don't be just like them. Don't do the things that they do. Don't. Because what they do will have a repercussion. You don't want to be caught in their punishment. Because if they can do it to you, how many other people have they done it to? He said what? Christ said what? Christ then asked them, are you at the caliber of these false accusers and encouraging their barbaric ways? So are you encouraging their barbaric ways? So if somebody is just yelling at you, you're gonna cut off their ear? Logic don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Fire does not work like that. Fire does not put out fire. In some cases, yes, when we're talking scientific, right, science and all of these analogies, concepts, right, yes, in some aspect, yes, but that's not what we're on right now. We're talking about literal when it comes to like situations that are common, not fixed problems or fixed occasions or scenarios that has to be altered. Just saying. All right. Then what does the next verse say? It says, "You all were with me as I taught you in the temple, but it doesn't seem you all were learning. Just know that this is Ellie's will, and it must be fulfilled." So if it's already made to happen, what makes you think that even if you do all of this stuff, it's still going to change? If it's our Creator's will and it's His plan, nothing is going to change that. So if you're supposed to win, you're still going to win. People are not going to change that no matter how much they want. They're not. That's why they have to be careful on what they do, because they know what karma means. There's a law to the spirit. There's a law to the physics. There's a law to the emotions. There's a law to everything. Otherwise, everything in this world would not exist. In this realm, the realm after, all of these things. Remember, there's visible light and invisible light. When you add vibrations, you get structures and depths of what something can, what something is. And it has a disposition. So from point A to point B, and it has to do something along the way. Because potential energy has to build so that a recurring process of force can be applied to it consistently. And if we're talking about these things on a subatomic level, on matter, trust and believe, I can make a video about that too. If people want me to really make videos, please let me know. I have no problem drawing things out, writing things out, making designs to give you an image for you to look at. I have no problem doing it. I'm like literally, you see my forehead right now? I look like I'm really sweating right now. Got me out here looking like a pastor or something for real. I'm just saying, right? So this is not just for me to tell you guys things or, oh, you guys are not good. No, we're all good, but we could be better. We first have to detach from this materialistic, monetized leverage that these higher ups have on us. They will go to every length to try to manipulate you. To every length. Because they look at you as something that's disposable. Once they use you, throw you right to the side. Even if they can keep you, it's like being an FBI or CIA agent. Once they see that you're not really, cut up for the job or whatever, they cut you out. Like, that there are people out here that are watched 24/7 because of their IQ. Or how much information they break down that the average person does not understand. That the only like I'm so serious. That the only way the person can really understand is if they either have somebody to teach them these things or they're doing research themselves. Or the Holy Spirit is in that person, and the Holy Spirit is telling this person things in the dream that when they do go and search, that they don't have no idea what they're searching. They go and search the things that they see, right? And it just makes sense and it comes together and it becomes like a puzzle where a puzzle is getting put together as if something was missing. And then you start seeing the bigger picture pieces by pieces that are being put together. That's what it looked like. But not to go more on a rant, right? Today was a really good lesson. And to just learn more about what? The loyalty to yourself, to Christ, and our Father. You can't even, first thing is truth. Learn truth, accept truth, practice truth, be truth. All of those things, be it all. It's hard, yes, it's hard. It's much easier to go and make money, to go and exploit, to go and lie. It's easier to do that. But to be truthful is very hard. Some people think that it's not hard. No, because they think that they don't talk too much. No. Being truthful, some people exaggerate. Some people don't exaggerate. Some people don't even know what truth means. They think that, oh, because I'm not telling a lie that seems like a real lie. No. Even 99.99% of what? A lie, a truth is still considered a truth. Even if it's just that one, even if it's just that 0.01%. Everything in this world is made off of truth. The sky that you see, the distance and the differences of what I'm seeing and that you're seeing through the screen, all of it is truth. So there will be nothing that will change that. Not even the devils. Although they say that they're the kings or the rulers of this world, which is actually a lie. That's why I say words like by and bow. Like I give you guys all references. I give you guys all gems, hints, everything that you guys need to learn. Because all of this stuff, even TikTok wouldn't be able, besides all of that conspiracy, because once you listen to a lot of conspiracies to a certain extent, you will start getting confused. It will start to confuse you. It will start to confuse you. Now, I wasn't confused. I was just the type of person to be interested. But there were some things that when I'm listening, I'm like, like no, like what are we on right now? Are we on crack, cocaine? What is going on? And when you get a therapist, some people don't realize this. All of it is devices. You know that somebody can pay your therapist, right? To doctors can pay, like the government, army, right? They can pay your doctor or take records from your doctor, right? Just because they feel like you're suspicious. They don't even have to find nothing. They can literally just tell your therapist, who is technically considered, aka your doctor, right, to tell them anything about you. If there was to be a therapist, just so they can collect information about you. Imagine what they're doing with your blood when you go and give them your blood so that they can have information about your current self right now and what is able to work with your blood and what is not able to work with your blood on a sound length, on a sound wave. Like when it comes to sounds, psionic type of radiance and reactions, chemical, spiritual, all of these things. Do you think that these people do not know what they're doing? No, they know exactly what they're doing. That's why they store your blood. They don't just, like, why, what doctor would keep your blood? Why, like, first off, let's put it like this. A medical research, right? Where we do medical research is for what? Is to contain and retain what? Information. So if they're able to cure, imagine that they're able to destroy. Just put it like that. Anything that can be created to create, it can also be created to destroy. Just to make it very simple, just to give you the understanding of something that's very simple. If something can be created to create, it can be destroyed. Because I know a lot of chemicals that can hurt your blood, that can that can do more than cobra's venom, serpent's venom, whatever. I don't even know how many different type of poisonous snakes that are out there. More than them, spiders, all of that. So imagine doctors who took a field in this for years, 45, 6 years, to get that sheet of paper and still hold the truth from our people. I think I said in my previous video, I think it's Dr. Vachi or something like, I don't even remember his name, but he got trialed last month and people are still out here vouching, right, for that COVID vaccine. You go ahead, be my guest. They literally convicted this man to a certain extent. They didn't probably put him in jail because I ain't finished watching it because I was just like, yo, it's a bunch of BS. Like, this man is literally telling you he knew, but then he didn't care about all of the effects that it had on people. This is why I tell people, like, yo, you can't even go to the hospital, get a vaccine, because if you go to the hospital, first ask your doctor what type of situations you got going on with your body. It doesn't mean if you got any type of disease. No, I'm just talking about your blood type, right? All of these extra attributes of who you are on a microscopical level. Because they're putting something foreign that is not common to your body. And your body might be strong enough and have a strong immune system to even fight if there was a COVID virus, it would be strong enough to fight the virus in the first place. But now you got it in your body. And those are metallic. Those are metallic liquids that are going in your body. So imagine, do you know what happens to certain lights? Do you know what happens to certain metal when it's affected by light? Energy reflects, right? But then there's certain frequencies that goes through. So when energy does not go through, what does it do? It heats it up. The same thing, the same reaction as a microwave. It heats it up. So energy does not, when energy is not passing through, it heats it up. Just like aluminum. We have iron in our blood. That's not too far from aluminum either. It's really not. Not too far. It's far enough, but not too far. It's reactive, for sure. And I'm giving you guys these hints because, these COVID vaccines are not common. They're metallic liquids. I don't know if you heard of metalloids, right? You have mixtures, you have all of these things that are, that are on the periodic table. They all have reactants. Their reactions or reactants. Two things. These causes can create some type of problem in your body. And imagine knowing that these are something that is what on a microscopical level that are what affecting your blood, right? What do you think is going to be connected to your blood that allows, what is it called? Electro pulses to be active if it's not your nerves, your nervous system. So they're going to affect your nervous system. They're going to go in all the places that it's supposed to and the place that is not. You're going to be walking like a zombie. Let one problem, you stand near the microwave a little bit too long, you're going to have a problem. Don't say that I didn't say it here first. But a lot of the people that had took the COVID vaccine stand there, and well, I'm not telling you to stand next to a microwave, but if anybody put any of those chemicals to a microwave, it will have an effect. Not in the microwave, really close. I'm talking put your arm on that, John, or where you had the shot at. Or stand somewhere, or put it somewhere there's a really intense radiation at. There's going to be some type of chemical reaction that's going to happen. But I'm not going to be on here for too long. Been on here for a little bit longer than what I should. I pray for your well-being. Much love to you. Don't be a reverse W. Okay? Yeah. Don't let none of these people come and try to drag you in, gaslight you with this material bling bling and all of this stuff, because it's not worth it. It is not worth it. It's not worth it. They themselves, they can't get out. So why not? Well, they can get out, but they just don't think they can, because it's going to be troubling. They're going to be going through a lot of tribulations. A lot of them don't think they can, but they can. They just don't feel. They don't think they can, though. Some of them know they can. Some of them choose. But don't allow these people to let you walk around a tree blindfolded with a sword 10 times. Yeah. 10 times. Did I say that? You know what I'm saying? But much love to you all. I love you all so much. Do I have anything else to say? If somebody told you they don't love you today, tell them I say I love you. I love them too. So here goes a kiss for them too. Right? And so much more. Much love more unto you. Abundance, protection, and care. Wisdom, discernment. All right.